Laura Antonelli was born in Pola. After the war, her parents fled what was then Yugoslavia, lived in Italian refugee camp and eventually settled in Naples, where her father found work as a hospital administrator. Antonelli had a childhood interest in mathematics, but as a teenager, she became proficient at gymnastics. Setting aside ambition to make a career in mathematics, she graduated as a gymnastic instructor. She moved to Rome, where she became a secondary school gym teacher and was able to meet people in the entertainment industry who helped her find modeling job. Yacht Celebrity presents all Laura Antonelli films. Number 38, Bali. Glenn and Carlo are in beautiful and exotic island of Bali, where they work on writing a photo book. Glenn is in the grip of a mystical crisis, influenced by the magical ritual of the place, converted to Hinduism, attend a holy friend, Tilam, and live as a polygamist with two indigenous wives. Carlo is skeptical. He doesn't believe in anything, only in his work, even if he doesn't disdain the company of a faithful indigenous lover. When his wife Daria joined him in Bali, she make a great friendship with the mystic Glenn and end up falling in love with him. Daria and Carlo have an open marriage. Despite the love of Daria, Glenn killed himself after having performed a magic ritual that bind him to the Hindu holy man. Carlo returned to Rome alone in the throes of a depressive crisis. After 3 years, he thinks he is seeing his wife again, but it is only a prostitute that he identifies with his wife. Tragic ending with Carlo, who killed the alleged wife and commits suicide after confessing everything to a police commissioner. Number 37, Robert Irek. The film is divided into 3 episodes, which have in common only the location in which they take place, Monte Carlo. The young princess Topazia seeing a young Paris priest, Don Vittorino, passing through the Côte d'Azur, because he has written with his parishioners from Lourdes, believes she recognizes him as the man who appeared to her in a dream on full moon night. The priest is forced to present himself to the girl, dressed as a dragon, and also to love her, by order of an interested Monsignor and later even of the Pope, because if he does not recover from this obsession, the princess refuses to marry her fiancé. While the wedding would bring a great economic advantage to the principality, since the meeting with the alleged dragon goes too well, the marriage will take place and Don Vittorino, now seduced, will be the future. He is therefore forced to persuade the young man himself to meet his wife, but of course only to convince her of his inability to love her. Predictably, things go very differently from what the industrialist wanted. The wife and the young man become lovers and will continue their relationship behind the gullible husband. Number 36. The Revolution 1968. It's 1968 and the cultural, social revolution is going on full speed. New concept, idea and content are brought into the world of movies too. And the European filmmaker scene, especially the Italian, is upfront. La Revolution is one of those progressive, provocative and daring movies. A professor invites 15 people of various age, gender and profession into a hotel. For 12 days, they have agreed to take part in an experiment. Every day, the professor will allot a man and a woman to spend the night together, without any obligation, boundary, love. His son Giorgio falls for the beautiful Stella and can't stand it seeing her allotted to other men. Others leave the experiment early or don't take it seriously. Tension arises everywhere. This was certainly a new and interesting concept, trying to replicate the feeling of the hippie community of the time, but in a more controlled environment. In today's media, swinging and adultery is omnipresent and has lost all taboo. But in 1968, this was still new and certainly fascinating to audiences. Number 35. Tigers in Lipstick, lamely functional 8-parter, may be one of the most colossal misfire of its era, with the four willing actresses wasted on sketches which are mainly plodding and obvious, and in other cases amazingly brief and insubstantial. The visual approach is blunt and straightforward. There is no zippiness, certainly not as for pass or panache. And the most titillating thing in the movie is the seaside postcard type design of the title that link the episode. The thing seemed to lack much real love appetite. Andress is merely glacier-like in her first episode. These qualities seem better deployed in her second, playing a woman in League, with her repair shop causing mass traffic crashes by strutting down the street half-dressed. Witty is perhaps the most technically accomplished of the four, but with the worst material. Crystal's opening episode is one of the better structure of the lot. Antonelli closes with a moderately complex role as a woman who juggles an attempt to sleep with a music conductor and a non-stop business schedule. Number 34. Passion of Love. It begins like Visconti's Senso. It is the same environment, the same circumstances of military life and romantic setting, and the splendid young dashing officer has a lovely mistress. Someone else's wife with a child. The setting couldn't be more romantic, and then he is transferred and can only continue communing with his love by letter and in his dream. The new place is somewhere distant, way up in the mountain, and there the presence of another woman offers something of an unsettling challenge. The build-up to his first meeting with her is in itself a masterpiece. You can feel his expectation as he only hears about her existence. She plays the piano sometime in the Chopin manner, which increases the high expectation. But at the same time, there are misgivings from the beginning, as she is chronically nervously ill and has terrible hysterical fit, resulting in interminable screaming, which must fill anyone with horror. Number 33. Without apparent motive. In the city of Nice, in the beautiful and sunny French Riviera, a sniper cold-heartedly assassinates 4 people in less than 48 hours. There isn't an obvious connection between the victim, but since they are all upper-class society members, Chief Commissioner Kerala senses a lot of pressure to catch the killer fast and to prevent further murder from happening. It's been such a long since watch a good old-fashioned authentic giallo. So Without Apparent Motive is French instead of Italian, and a sniper rifle isn't exactly a traditional giallo murder weapon, but still feel it qualify as a bona fide giallo. After all, many delicious trademarks are well represented, like the convoluted whodunit plot, a mysterious but merciless killer, a struggling police commissioner, and many gorgeous women. Number 32. Lagavia. Tony Mustang of Bird with Crystal Plumage fame play Michael Parker, rich and successful American businessman who lived with his girlfriend in Italy. 15 years ago, he had love with Mary and left her without explanation. When his girlfriend and her kid leave him for Christmas, Michael decides to have an affair with his neighbor. But this time Mary is going to kidnap him and put Michael chained to bed in her bedroom. Jacqueline, Mary's preteen daughter, also desires Michael and wants him only for herself. Lagavia was co-scripted by Lucio Fulci and Francesco Barelli. It's quite stylish and moody thriller with some graphic scene provided by sister Cristina and Blanca. Anyhow, the narrative deals with Antonelli's elaborate revenge on the selfish mutant, whose S&M practices she endured and which have subsequently traumatized her for life. She now lives across the hall from his current lover Volkan, and eventually, with her daughter's help, he ends up trapped inside their apartment for days. The trouble is that the jealous offspring wants her mom's lover for herself. The abrupt, open-ended conclusion is fashionable but essentially rather blah, and Ennio Morricone's score isn't one of the maestro's best either. Number 31. I Am Getting a Yacht. Director and writer Sergio Corbucci's passport to fame was the Italo-Western genre, but in the 70s the comedy were in vogue in Italy. The Corbucci churned out one by one. The 1980 production I Am Getting a Yacht quickly slipped into obscurity. However, the Roman dentist Piero wanted to spend his holiday cruising on a small sailing boat together with his two little children. His ex-wife Roberta is planning quite a similar thing with her high society friend on a luxury yacht though. But when Piero's first forays to the sea end in disaster, Roberta is worried about the children and decides to embark on his boat. The reunited family sets sail. Lot of adventure and strange encounter await them. Number 30. Hypochondriac, 1979. In Rome, the rich and stingy landowner Argenti, believed to be sick in any possible harm, although born as a fish. Another thing that the cruel man holds great attention is his money and his contact with a young doctor for the wedding of his daughter Lucrezia. In fact, the good catch is considered the girl a total moron, who know nothing about medicine. But don't Argenti not pay much attention and just think to combine the deal as soon as possible. Meanwhile, his wife, without his or her knowledge, betray him with another. Comes the doctor, betrothed his daughter to the house of Argenti, as he finds himself in yet another false relapse, and thus begin to visit him. Agente now realizes the nonsense that say the young, but it is only about money and does not care. Number 29. The Eroticist. A senator campaigning for the Italian presidency tried to find a cure for his uncontrollable penchant for love harassment, all while a cabal of corrupt politicians linked to the Vatican tried to keep the story under wrap. Italian director Lucio Fulci is best known for horror flick. He ventured into political satire with The Eroticist. The main character is a libidinous politician who spent a few days at a spiritual retreat full of hot women. Italian politicians have a reputation as corrupt lechers. Silvio Berlusconi's shenanigans could fill a book, so this movie come across as a little too obvious. Got the feeling that they had a lot of fun making the movie. Not surprisingly, it faced censorship when it got released. Some people just can't take a little criticism. Number 28. The Turno. Pepe Eleta, a poor Sicilian baron, fall in love from a distance with the beautiful Stellina. The two can only be seen with binocular because her father Marcantino keep her segregated in her house. Stellina is also courted by the very rich and decrepit Don Diego Alcázar, and she is finally convinced to marry him with the mirage of immediate wealth and a subsequent probable widowhood. Don Pepe is waiting for her turn, but Don Diego Alcázar does not decide to die, and the lawyer Sirocopa, fresh widower of Pepe's sister, convinces Telina to marry him after having obtained the annulment of the unconsummated marriage. Destiny seemed to rage on poor Pepe, but a providential apoplexy gets rid of the rival lawyer on the very evening of the wedding. Pepe Eleta's turn has finally arrived. Number 27. Scoundrel Invite. Doctor doesn't trust beautiful women. He say he prefer moral beauty. Among colleagues, he make a bet who manage to sleep with the most ugly woman during the next year and win. Shortly after he meet the plain Christine on vacation in Tunisia. She leave him after their first night, but by chance they meet again in Bordeaux. He learned that her father is a wealthy doctor who is very pleased to meet him and encourage him to become his son-in-law. Just on the wedding, doctor meet Christine's beautiful sister, who has the bad fortune to always marry the dumbest guy around. But doctor know how to help her out. Another odd choice for this director, an eccentric character comedy that generally misses the mark but is redeemed by a thriller type twist in the last half hour, which turn it into a Chabrol movie after all. Number 26. Grandi Magazzini. Many Italian stars, some great comedy from the 60s, 70s, 80s gather in this film that is meant to be comedy. But it has no fun, doesn't have what it need, that is quality salt and pepper. The two directors Castellano and Pipolo, they signed together many comedies between 60s 90s, some more successful, some less. So the three great comedians Enrico Montesano, Nino Manfredi, Paolo Villaggio are very good, very funny in many other films, not here. They try hard but fail to be funny. More funny are Renato Pozzetto and Lino Banfi. The beautiful Laura Antonelli here is no longer the beauty of yesterday. Her role is really ridiculous. Ornella Muti, Rita Paisi, Michael Placido are just present in small and insignificant roles. The film is not great fun to watch, it's only for those who know and love the actor in it. Number 25. Malaysia 2000. The 1973 comedy classic Malaysia turned Laura Antonelli into a superstar. Ignacio and Angela, now married for almost 20 years, have lost the spark in their love life. Ignacio is drooling after his store assistant while Angela is deeply bored at home. This changes when an archaeologist arrives to conduct an excavation in the cave under the villa. He brings along his 15-year-old son Jimmy, who is immediately struck by Angela's mature beauty. But Angela makes it crystal clear that she is not the right one for him. The pubescent boy just doesn't want to bury his crush so easily. Devious and shy at once, he devises a sinister play with Angela that even includes hurting his father physically. When Angela realizes his intention, she decides to play along. Malaysia 2000 offers a story with simple, superficial elements, pieced together without any effect or depth. That Jimmy boy is so purely evil that it's almost ridiculous. To drag out his love letter game with Angela, he creates an astonishing trap to hurt his father. In the course of the movie, the guy will lose an earlobe, a forefinger, and will tear open his face because Jimmy places an extra blade in his razor. Number 24. Black Journal. Leah, a mature Neapolitan woman who runs a box office in the lotto, has had 13 children, but all but one have died from abortion or after a few months of life. The only survivor, Michelle, is taken care of by her with morbid affection. She is convinced that she has stolen it from death by negotiating with her. So she is not willing to give it away either to her country or to another woman. When Michelle gets engaged with a pretty dance teacher, the mother, to avert her detachment, make a new sacrifice to death, suppressing 3 spinster friends from which she obtained soap and biscuit. He called to Amcom for his son. To get him back, Leah wants to multiply his sacrificial rite, targeting this time a silent maid and the hated girl of Michelle. Number 23. The Divine Nymph. The sentimental battle that 2 men, Danny and Michelle, who are fighting to conquer the heart of Manuela, a beautiful and alluring woman who has become the only person who gives meaning to the life of both men. They are part of the same lineage and must play their card properly with the intention of falling in love with the girl. Even so, she goes out of her way to downplay the issue every time people ask about her to shooters. A dark and faintly nasty story, yet one that is overpoweringly gorgeous to behold. The walls of Stamp Villa glow with art painting by Klimt and Moru, and this set a visual style for the entire film. Every single frame shimmer with exotic color, flower and jewel surfaces. Intertitles spice up the narrative with quotation from Pushkin and Stendhal. Costume designer Gabriella may in fact be the film's real star. Her clothes are so elegant and atmospheric they could act out the story with no help from the actors. Number 22. A Man Called Sledge. Outlaw Luther Sledge and sidekick Mallory pull into the town for an overnight stay. While Sledge head upstairs to spend the night with long-time prostitute friend Rhea and a bottle of rye, his sidekick Mallory enter a game of poker downstairs in the saloon. Frustrated with losing their money to Mallory, 2 of the other gamblers shoot him dead. Alerted to the downstairs gunshot noise, Sledge descends in the saloon. Pretending he is drunk, catches the 2 gamblers unprepared and shoots them dead. Number 21. Viumia 1982. The rich Anna Tassotti Belloni is an Eva Zoltex following a police raid. She is forced to repair outside Italy. On the way to the airport, it collides with police car, driven by Achilles Cotton, who, unaware of who he faced to apologize for causing the accident, offered to accompany her to the airport. Party plan, the arrival of a superior Cotton, realizes he made a big mistake. Achilles managed to find Anna in Spain, held by the police for lack of document, and begins its long journey of recovery 1,000 adventures. Arrive in Ibiza with his superior to return the fugitive in Italy. He is persuaded by Anne to go to lunch at the restaurant of a close friend who tried to help by putting a laxative in the food of the 2 policemen. Achilles is therefore to manage the situation alone and to avoid the strike of air traffic controller. Confiscate private jet Anna to return to Italy. The bad weather, however, precipitates the aircraft in Corsica, where the 2 share a yacht with her former stolen. Arrive in Italy, Anna Cotton failed to deliver to the authorities, but is still sent to Sardinia for the trouble that have combined.